Alright, it's time for Bad Random Habits Cool Part 2. The first part did really well, thanks a lot for the support. I love you personally, like not in a parasocial content creator way, like me personally, you who's watching this video while bed rotting, I love you. Let's get into it. These are 4 more bad habits you probably haven't heard about, even almost 7 years into the game, or I don't know, maybe you have, but I'm gonna elaborate on them in a way that, like, I'm sure you're gonna get something out of this video, alright? So if you've ever noticed that you play better when you're on your last stock because like the game's about to end and that feeling of urgency just makes you play a lot more careful, well, what if I told you that you're only a little practice away from being able to play like that all the time? As someone who is globally recognized for clutching out games, I of course want to harness this secret potential of mine and play like this all the time, not only when I'm about to lose. And the way I have tried to do it is that I devised one simple question that you can ask yourself every time someone loses a stock or takes a ton of percent, whether that's you or whoever you're fighting. That question is, should I speed up or should I slow down? And you move on from there. So let's use a game with my Byleth against this Cloud I found on Elite Smash. I got absolutely rolled on my first stock, and it wasn't until after I took 100% on my next stock that I finally took him out once. So I asked myself, like, alright, what can I do to win here? Should I slow down or should I speed up? And I decide, because I'm playing Byleth and I'm losing, and with my character it's pretty hard to outmaneuver someone as slippery as Cloud, I'm gonna stick to slowing down. So I get some damage in, but I guess I asked myself this question too late because I'm on my last stock and he still has 2 and he's only on 40%, but I commit. Byleth tends to get outsped a lot, so I use my faster moves like jab and nair to get out of pressure. I get my guaranteed true combos, but I don't overextend, and whenever I do go for something big like this up B into down air, I do it knowing that it's really not that big of a deal here if he DIs correctly and I miss, because we end up pretty far away from each other. And then I call out this jump here to take the stock. Cool. Kind of risky, this move was punishable, but the intention was in fact to call out a jump. This guy doesn't shield much, and he has limit, and I'm at high percent, and he's a stock up, so, you know, he's probably going for an attack, right? So now we're both on final stock. I'm at 80%. I call out the the Swordy's plat drop from last episode, but his cross slash still pokes my shield, oh well, and this is what I want to show you, alright? All this stock, all this last stock where this guy's percentage keeps climbing, all I'm doing is giving him options. He kind of crumbled when I forced him to make the first move. He didn't have to, like I technically wasn't forcing him into doing anything. He was in the lead the entire time. I waited for his landing option here, and then again over here. I waited for his air dodge here, and now the game is completely even. I get past the ledge trap, do some safe pressure, and now he's the one panicking. He goes for a greedy up smash, and it's over. I brought it back and I sniped his booty out of the blast, so GG to this guy. So I was controlling the pace of the game here, but I wasn't camping at all, so, you know, don't get pacing and camping mixed up. I was kind of just waiting for him to move, and he didn't notice what I was doing. He didn't notice that I was purely just like waiting for him. So that was me slowing it down. But scenarios where your answer is to speed up, here is my Joker against this campy ass Mega Man. He's too comfortable. He's a fast-ish campy character having the time of his life against me. This matchup sucks. And I lose the stock. And I'm like, wow, this guy's super annoying. I gotta put on some pressure, right? You know, my character's better, right? So just like pacing down does not equal camping, pacing up does not equal becoming a rush down, alright? The rest of the game, I'm putting on pressure with my side B and gun. And this isn't me using projectiles to camping, keep him away. This is me using projectiles to keep him moving, to keep him busy, because like if he gets comfortable, he starts spamming his shit and I lose. So, and in the end I do get this back here and deny the rematch. Hopefully I never bump into you again. Why do I torture myself with Elite Smash? I don't know. Now this isn't universal. Some characters are just too good at controlling the pace of the game, and you need to acknowledge that even though you're super good at this, like you might have this habit completely overcame, their main strength is slowing the match down almost to a halt. You know, characters like Steve, Sonic, and Snake, like sometimes you just have to play the game and be extra careful and boring. Oh well, it sucks. But for most people, try asking yourself this question next time you're in a pinch. It'll make you play better. Alright, this one's easy. Last episode, we talked about panic get up attack. Here's another get up habit. So like last time, I'm trusting that most of you properly mix up your get up options, or at the very least are aware that doing the same thing over and over isn't a good idea. But what about mixing up the get up timing. If you miss a tech, waiting a bit before you input your option can help you a lot sometimes, and I feel like a lot of people don't do it enough. If your opponent is going for a read, they'll probably set themselves up for it, like get in range, and they assume that you're gonna do an option instantly. If you wait, you can catch them lacking and get up for free, or even better, if you're doing a neutral get up or a get up attack, you can time it perfectly and use the invincibility, and now you're the one punishing them for assuming that you were gonna input a get up option as fast as possible. Or if they're trying to catch a get up option with a projectile, Samus players do this a lot, it's surprisingly easy to time a neutral get up in order to not get hit by it. Again, make sure you don't end up doing a panic get up attack. Just because you see them going towards you doesn't mean they're not looking out for it. But yeah, waiting a bit before you do a get up option can pretty efficiently break your opponent's timing, and it makes them hesitate when they have you in this position. They'll realize that they not only have to react to what you do, but also to when you do it. And then when it comes to ledge options, it's pretty much the same thing. Just watch out for the ledge trump and watch out for your invincibility running up. But still, here's why it's just as important as mixing up the timing while you're on the ground. Basically, the bare minimum for someone who wants to be good at ledge trapping is to be able to anticipate or react to get up options. The thing is, most people, myself included, I should get on that, are really only good at reacting, assuming their opponent inputs an option as soon as they touch the ledge or very soon after they do. This means that if I'm ledge trapping you here and you wait, similar to get up options on the ground, not only do I have to react to your option, but I also have to react to when you do it. If I'm pressuring the ledge here as Lucina and I'm trying to show you that I'm ready to keep hitting you, a lot of these aerials are timed to hit you assuming that you're gonna input an option as soon as possible. So you can just wait until I jump again and you'll have a better time getting back into the stage. Now, if you wait too long, it kind of goes away though. There's kind of a sweet spot when it comes to how long you wait, and you know, you're supposed to throw me off, you know, not wait for me to lock in. Also, watch out for the ledge jump. I said this earlier, but like, I'm saying mix up your timing, but I'm not saying always wait. Like, if you're fighting someone who is good at ledge jumping, the threat of it alone is probably going to be enough to pressure you into doing a get up option as soon as possible. So don't forget that you're still at a disadvantage. You still have less options than your opponent. Your goal is still to get out of there, but mixing up the timing is still great for messing with your opponent's flow, you know? Alright, so this one is a fun one. You know, literally your homework here is to have fun, because this one's another one I came up with, and it's only playing your main or only being good with your mains. Not saying you should use a ton of characters in bracket and become a random main. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, you know, maybe taking some time off and picking up other characters for fun would help you in the long run. Here's why. First of all, the more obvious reason is matchup knowledge. You learn more about other characters, what they want, what they're weak to, and that knowledge you only get when you play the character will help you beat them next time you're playing it seriously. I used to struggle a lot against Luigi, but I played him for fun a little bit, and that helped me with the matchup a ton, you know, stuff like that. I mean, in the end, the Luigi matchup is to just camp him out, but I'm a lot better at doing that now. Now, the main reason I chose this for the video is that knowing about other characters makes it so that you know a lot about the game from all perspectives rather than just one or two. For example, I made Lucina, and when I picked up Joker, who plays a super fast game, once I swapped back, I noticed that I was kind of just moving faster and my reaction times were faster, because Joker is a character that demands precision and reaction time, and Lucina does too, just not as much as Joker, so I felt the difference. And this is just one example of many. A few years ago I played a lot of Pikachu for fun, and that made it so that I loved going off stage and going for edge guards, and I ended up being a lot more comfortable going off stage with Lucina. Even if Pikachu has a completely different recovery, like I know that Lucina's recovery and Pikachu's recovery are very different, I just didn't see off stage as a danger zone anymore, thanks to the rat. And to this day, edgeguards are something I'm pretty good at with Lucina. I love edgeguarding, so it's stuff like that. Playing slow characters like Dr. Mario and Ganondorf back in the day, characters that force you into going for reads and callouts because they're not fast enough to do much else. Lucina doesn't need to do that as much as Doc. She's really fast, but I'm good at that now because of Doc. I play a lot of Dr. Mario for fun, and that makes me better at reading because his smash attacks are super strong, and it's one of the few things he's good at. Playing Link for fun, that feeling of knowing when to move in and when to stay out is gonna sprinkle all over my Lucina gameplay. It's super fun. It's like that scene from Avatar when Iroh is like, yeah man, you can't learn only Fire Nation stuff. If you want to be goated like me, you gotta pick up things that people from other tribes do. It's like that. If all you play is rush jumps, for example, you're probably super cool, but like, let's say you're a Roy and Terry main, you might not have a lot of experience when it comes to playing patiently. Not that Roy and Terry really need to play patiently, it's their thing to be super fast and aggressive, but you get what I mean, right? It's knowing about it, it's understanding it. So this was kind of an obvious example, rather like Roy and Terry, but like, if you're a dedicated one-trick pony and only play your mains, take a break, alright? Pick a new character just for fun. You'll actually pick up on things that will make you better with your main, I'm serious. Alright, so remember last episode when we talked about how trading mode is so important? This video's final bad habit is not seeing the value in practicing your movement. So there's a bunch of stuff that I think is super important inside trading mode, like making sure your combos and confirms come out right, or reacting to ledge traps, but I think movement, as in empty movement, like movement drills, understanding good positioning and being good at being where you want to be whenever you want to, I think that is the most important thing to be good at. If you follow through with last episode's tip on trading mode, you obviously don't need to watch that one to understand this one, but this is like a part 2 to that. Think of your brain as a big library. And in that library, there's one bookcase that has all of the things that your brain can handle thinking about in a real competitive game of Smash Ultimate. And there's a lot of books in here, cool, you know, a lot of knowledge, but also the bookcase, it's kind of cluttered, you know, it has a bunch of books thrown around, and if you were to rearrange everything and line up the books better, you could fit a lot more stuff in here, right? In this metaphor, your movement is like one of those bookends that keep everything in place. So like naturally being a lot better at being where you want to be and being harder to overwhelm and outmaneuver, knowing your fast moves, your get off me moves, all of that frees up a ton of space in your brain to think about other stuff. If your movement isn't good and you're hesitating and you're not sure if you're gonna choose the right out of shield move, or if you should roll, or if you go for the skill confirm, like you're not sure if you're gonna get it right because it's a tight input, like that is you burning brain power on things that if you want to be good at this game, you should work towards that being second nature and not something that you dedicate too much of your brain to. So if you clean up that bookcase, you're gonna have a lot of free space here to remember things like what your opponent did at ledge, how they like to get out of combos, and all that fun stuff that helps you win games and get cool reads. If you've ever been like, man, I'm so bad at getting reads, it's probably because your movement isn't good enough to the point where you have enough space in your brain to think about what your opponent is doing. It's that simple. If improving at Smash means adding books to your bookcase, then improving without considering your movement means you're kind of just throwing shit at the bookcase and hoping it doesn't fall off the shelf. With good movement, you can make sure all of the knowledge stays there and that it doesn't take up more space than it needs to. Alright, I make a lot of metaphors. We can move away from the books now, right? You get it? Cool. This playlist that I will leave in the description by Mage FGC is probably the best movement guide out there. Any movement drills, recommendations that I make in this video, like nothing could top this series. If you want to focus on your movement, go check it out. But let me give you some highlights so I know what you would be looking at if you go down this path. It's stuff like doing your raw jumps consistently, that's when you turn around right before you jump, tether canceling while jumping from ledge, platform stuff like wave landing, falling through a platform instead of landing on it and then dropping again. Some of these things like sound niche, but in the end, like these subtle movement optimizations pile up and you will end up being so slippery. Being good at movement is a super important stat, alright? Don't forget it. Alright, cool. That is 4 more random bad habits you might have. Thanks for watching. I would love to do a part 3 to this, but I have no ideas for more habits. So let me know if you have any suggestions. If you want to see your comment show up in a video, you know, that would be cool. I got a new microphone. Let me know if you noticed it. Subscribe if you want to see more. You know how it is. You know how it goes. Second channel right here. Just uploaded a video on a Byleth combo that kills you at 45%. Pretty cool. See you later. Bye.